Damn, son, where'd you find this? Rock with your boys. Rock with your boys. Rock with your boys.
All right, you're looking live at
Where'd you
Generation
find this?
Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, and you're looking live. You know, day 2. We checking on this draft, man. So I'm holding the fort down right now by myself till my partner in crime hops on. But yeah, man, I'm watching this draft, and you know, let's see who we got going. So Nick, my Warrior just went to Seattle. Let's see, man. Who else can let's see what we got? I wonder where is Broadus in there, man. So let's check it out. Let's see. It's been a long day, man. And we'll do just like we did yesterday, you know.
Damn,
What's
son,
up,
where'd you find this?
Check this intro out. Check this intro I did out. I like this intro. Got the instrumental on. Check
Damn,
it out.
son, where'd you find this? Rock with your boys.
I like that right there. I like that. I like that right there. That's pretty dope. Now let's see. I'm gonna put it on the draft show I'm watching and just kind of hear what Broadus and them is talking about right now. And then we'll take a listen.
That they really liked. You thought maybe Travion Henderson would go before him, but instead it's Judkins. When you think about the style of play that Brian Schottenheimer's wanting to play with, physical at the point of attack, run through somebody's face.
Judkins went before
this is
Travion Henderson.
One that this might be a legitimate pen throw.
That's awesome for us, I think.
Am I
because
missing something about Travion Henderson?
I want.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm surprised Quinshawn went before him.
I want Travion Henderson.
I
to be honest.
Henderson
Well, I would have never thought that Higgins would have gone before.
But, like character concerns that have popped up with Burden, you can
So
explain.
Quinshawn Judkins went first, and that's cool.
Judkins is a great back. Do not get me wrong.
But for me,
that it wasn't his teammate that was drafted above
I'm
him.
taking. I like Travion Henderson. So
I think Henderson is by far the better running back.
let me put the people on here that I would like for them to
pass
draft.
catcher, big play, blocker, like he
Luther
has
Burden.
I'm actually I thought Henderson would go yesterday. So the fact that I'm seeing
Travion
Judkins
Henderson.
and nothing against Judkins, I think Judkins will do just fine there. With the power running that they want to do, but I just think Henderson's much better. But hey, good for them. We need this. Like as Cowboy representatives, I understand that everybody's kind of watching right now, but as Cowboy people in the room, I mean, I would much rather Henderson than Judkins. But
Well, and you might have a shot at that just about 8 picks from now. So this one goes off the board early. Where did you have him comparatively, Brian, to some of your other running backs on your board?
Well, I like I say, he was down in he was in that third round group for me, and so I'm totally okay with this. Like I said, I've got guys like Johnson ahead of him. My love for Johnson is there. But Johnson, Henderson, Sampson. I mean, Sampson's my first third-round grade. If you're talking about a Dallas Cowboy board of grading, it's a 130 right there. Henderson's like a 128, 129, bottom of the second round, and then probably with Johnson about a 125 there. So I've got a couple second-round backs that I really, really like. I think they maybe like Henderson more than they like Johnson. So but the dream still is alive for me. I still have
those are the people that I want them to pick right there. That I just put on the list right there. Luther Burden, Travion Henderson, Will Campbell, Mason Taylor, Caleb Johnson. I really want them to go wide receiver.
I think Johnson's probably the guy that you look at as the next guy on the board.
I really want them to go wide receiver and running back. That's what I would prefer. Team weapons. And since we got our line stout yesterday, we can do running back and wide receiver today. And Savion Williams to me is the sleeper pick. I would like to see them get Savion Williams in the third round if he's still there. So let's see who we got. So right now on the clock is, let's see who's on the clock. Miami is on the clock. I think Miami just picked somebody. Let's see, who did Miami pick? So the Dolphins took Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle from Michigan. He, in my opinion, was worthy of a first round pick. That Kenneth Grant, he's really good. Between him and Mason Graham, the Michigan boys had it sold up.
Reporting here from ESPN's Todd Archer. Cowboys would like to recoup the 4th round pick they gave up for Jonathan Mingo. Would likely mean a trade down from number 44 to get that 4th. Something to ponder as the pick grows closer.
So that's kind of the conversation we had earlier. Instead of trading up from your 5s and your 6s and your 7s, maybe if you have these guys continue to fly off the board like you have the last couple of picks, maybe you decide to move back a little bit and pick up that 4th round grade. All right, here is the Dolphins selection at pick number 37.
Interesting day so far, folks.
All right, we got a trade here. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded the 37th pick to the Miami Dolphins. With that being said, the 37th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jonah Savaianaya.
Jonah Savaianaya.
Jonah from Zona.
So I guess I wonder where my information is coming from. Jonah Savaianaya.
Brian, I know you talked about him quite a bit. He wasn't super high on your board compared.
No, if somebody else wants to talk about him high on their board, I would, that would be good for me.
He was my top guard in the 3rd round. I had him at OG 6. Jonas Savaianaya, he was right guard, left tackle, starting experience from his time at Arizona. Played with Jordan Morgan last year. Was a guy we talked about a lot in the 1st round last year.
All right, let's see.
Loads of pass protection experience.
So
we talked about it with Ted McMillan.
What's going on now? What they're saying now is that the Cowboys are trying to trade, or looking to possibly trade back and
department than a lot of these other offensive linemen, and you just have to toy with this beat.
They're looking to possibly trade back and recoup that 4th round pick that they traded for Mingo, which we all know how we feel about that. That should have never been a pick in the first place. We should have never traded a 4th round pick for Mingo. If they would have got weapons last year or the year before that by picking instead of picking Mozzie and Schoon and Guyton, we wouldn't be needing to trade no 4th round pick. After you had a disastrous trade the year prior, you traded a 4th round pick for Trey Lance, and the Cowboys, they have to stop trying to be the smartest guys in the room. It's just like, listen, man, if this other team didn't want him, it's a good reason why we shouldn't take him. It's just not there. He just doesn't have it. Everybody that's drafted in the first round doesn't always perform up to expectations, and you just got to take it for what it is. And also, the Cowboys do this thing to where, they asked him why did they trade for Mingo, and then Steven, he will get up there and he'll say, well, we had a first round grade on him when he came out the draft. Or we had a second round grade on him when he came out the draft. But it's just like, bro, yeah, you might have had a first round grade on him. We did too. But after he been in the league for a year and 2 years, that obviously was wrong. If you go back and do a redraft, he doesn't even get picked. Probably not until like the third or fourth round, maybe even fifth. So it's just like, come on, man. They do stupid stuff like that. Like they have the secret sauce to turn this guy into a Pro Bowler or something. Like, he been in the league for a couple years and he haven't performed up to expectations. Now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they feel like they can trade a pick for him and then get him to perform like a first round pick or something. And as we see, he don't, man, listen, they better go team weapons. They're showing the war room right now. So, yeah, man. So, they showing the war room. I wonder what that's about. Let's check it out.
So, let's keep this thing going.
Okay, so let me just ask, when do you guys think the run on hurt character guy happens? Like these corners that we're mentioning, like Johnson.
When does Cincinnati pick?
Cincinnati will definitely take them, but
Cincinnati will
49.
be the 49. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, at some point you have to go, all right, y'all, I get it, but that's Revel, that's Johnson, that's Benjamin Morris.
Well, the fact that Revel,
that's Mike Green,
that they did the surgery, that Dr. Dan Cooper, a fine surgeon, did the actual. They know exactly where this guy's knee is.
I want to say
that they're going to be, they would be happy.
Brian Broderson, and I'm not just sitting here being quiet.
Need. Me personally, though, man, Burton a little higher on that board, but they're both needs, and they're both, I think, would really help this football team, whichever way they would go. But they have to know what that need looks like right now. They brought the kid in for a 30 visit to make sure of it as well.
So the first 5 picks of the second round: Carson Swessinger, linebacker, UCLA, to the Browns at 33. Texans take Jaden Higgins, wide receiver from Iowa State. Seahawks take Nick Imanwari, deep safety from Georgia. Then you've got the Browns, 36 overall, Quinshon Judkins, running back from Ohio State. And then the Miami Dolphins trade up with the Las Vegas Raiders. They take Jonah from Zona from the 37th pick overall, the guard out of Arizona. All right, pick is in. Pick number 38 for the New England Patriots. We're taking a look inside the Cowboys war room.
You want to say what's up to the people?
My
dad just hopped on.
That's actually an iPad in front of him.
You doing your technical difficulties?
Will McClay
you go to just
a bit of a tangent earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get into that.
I got this audio. I don't even know where it's coming
from. Directed towards Will McClay.
Coming from the program. I'll come in there and I'll fix it real quick.
And he's got everybody's respect. The coach's respect. He's got the Joneses' respect, and he's got the scouts' respect. And if he's going to speak up and start to talk about, if people are sitting in that room talking about getting that 4th round pick, trading back, Will's probably standing in there saying, wait a minute, guys, we've got a grade on this guy. He might be absolutely fighting for somebody in that room.
Very well could be, and we'll talk more about the Cowboys war room after the Patriots selection.
To help make the New England Patriots selection,
Well, he's
here
going to
come out with Special Olympic athletes Xavier Goff and Unified Sports Partner Reed Turner. Both are Unified Flag football teammates from Special Olympics. Reed, Xavier.
That's neat. Hey, close my door.
Is one of the league's Play 60 community partners funded by the
I can hear it through my headset.
The NFL and Special Olympics team up to provide opportunities for athletes of all ages and abilities to get active
Let me change the input
flag
camera to
football. This allows individuals with and without intellectual disabilities to play
And
on
then
the
you don't
same
have to touch
team.
that. And then little audio.
Xavier,
You
Reed,
change it
you
to
got the
audio
stage.
input.
Right here?
Both of them. Go to change it to USB
With the
microphone,
30th
USB dynamic.
pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select
That's it right there.
Trevion Henderson,
Such a good fit. Vrabel getting his guy. This makes
So
sense.
when you get a break,
Good
I need
job.
you to go get my
That's a good pick.
iPad. It's
Both
down there
Ohio
on
State
the
running backs off
the
the
ottoman.
board
Close the door.
for pick number 40 even in this NFL draft. I know, Vach, you've kind of kept an eye on him throughout. What do you think about Henderson here?
Fantastic player. Like I said, big play. Big play. Even in limited reps, there'll be games where he only got 10 runs, but he'll make 100 yards out of it. Home runs.
All right, can you hear me?
Right now? But I just
Yeah,
like to
but I can
highlight
hear the
blocking.
fans.
I'm sort of a
All right, so there you go. All right, so yeah, you on with the people. So I mean, I can change that. Let me see. Yeah, we can. I'll put him on the screen now. Here they go. He said, "Can we see?" Yeah, we can see your comments. There they go, right there. I just put him on the screen.
Oh, that's key.
Yeah. So let's see, man.
So Quinshawn Judkins done got drafted.
Trevion Henderson. Oh.
Turn the music down. Saying a lot of good players go out the board, but here's what it is.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, they probably could have been in the first round. So let me recap what I was trying to watch. So Schlesinger went to Cleveland, Higgins to the Texans. Quinshawn Judkins to the Browns. Man, the Browns, man. Trevion Henderson went to the Patriots. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Man. So now we down to Caleb Johnson, but I wouldn't be surprised. I was talking with some people today. It wouldn't surprise me, man, at all. If they come back in the second and third round, they go corner, defensive line, or defensive line corner.
Well, the only thing about that is if they go corner, they got to go Will Johnson.
A lot of reports today about him, his knee just being, it's not being good. Now, Trey Amos is the corner probably. He hasn't gone. What the Cowboys are doing, just my observation, and we're going to talk about this, or, I'll talk about it when you drop off. What the Cowboys are doing right now, they finna try to make up for the 23 and 24 draft because they just flopped it. So
what they finna do, they finna trade back.
Well, that's another consequence of making that trade for Mingo. See, the Mingo trade, I was talking with some people today. The Mingo trade has far-reaching implications because what that Mingo trade has done, it costs you your fourth-round pick, and it's also putting you in a mindset where you don't need a receiver. So it's just a domino effect. In both of it's just not good. I gotta send a link out. Can you send it to me so I can just?
I put it in. I already sent it. I put it in that in me, you, and Uncle Squeak chat.
So yeah, that Mingo trade, it's a double impact, and it's not good.
Oh well, there goes Chicago. They took Luther Burden.
Yeah.
So man, that's one thing I don't like about the Cowboys. It's just like they don't pick the weapons, and then every year they do this. Every year they pick a lineman, which is not a bad pick.
And other teams pick weapons.
Yeah, everybody else takes weapons.
Yep.
Everybody else takes weapons. You really could have just used free agency to get your line stout, and could have took all weapons like everybody else does. But they just, now we're gonna have. Now you're looking at no weapons. That's what you're looking at now. All of the good weapons are gone except Caleb Johnson, and I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Johnson and Mason Taylor are off the board when we pick. Those are the only 2 weapons left that you can really just say those are bona fide weapons. Ain't nobody else after that.
Well, not only that, they're not even thinking about weapons. That's not what they do.
Yeah. We're gonna get our running back in the 3rd round if it's not Caleb Johnson, or the 4th round, or whatever.
Well, they're not already made up their mind. They're not taking running back in the 2nd, 3rd round. They're gonna get their backs in the 5th.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna get their back in the 5th. It's gonna be 210 or one of those backs. It's gonna be Scatterboo or somebody like that that's gonna come in and not gonna even be a full-time starter.
And they're gonna tell you that Jonathan Mingo is our number 2 receiver. He's AJ Brown. That's what they're doing. Now, only thing you can give them credit for, based on what I'm hearing, they would have took Tet. That was the player they wanted. Did you see Micah?
Yeah. I mean, with the pick that we got is awesome. It's just not a weapon.
No, it's not a weapon, but you're here because of what you did in 23 and 24. We're gonna talk about this maybe tonight on one of our other shows. Right now on your team, you would have Laporta. That would be one of your tight ends. I would argue with you, and I don't think you agree with me. You would have Xavier Worthy on your team. He would also have Matthew Bergeron. So what does your team look like if you got Sam Laporta, Xavier Worthy, and Matthew Bergeron? It's a totally different team, and it's not a fantasy. You could have had those players. All you have to do was take them. I forgot one other one. Devin Achane. You could have Devin Achane.
Bucky Irvin.
You could have Bucky Irvin, Xavier Worthy, Sam Laporta, and Matthew Bergeron would be one of your guards. If you wanted to put Tyler Smith at tackle, you would have Tyler Smith, Matthew Bergeron, and Booker. You would have all of that. Now, I don't think Tyler Smith is a left tackle, but I think he's a guard.
Well, like I said, it's pretty much, to me, I'm kind of.
So what they finna do right now, they finna go defense. They gonna go defensive line or corner. So who your defensive lineman is left? Collins. They gonna have to take Collins around early.
Yeah. I'll try to figure out a way to get Savion or Isaiah Bond.
If you have any intention of getting Savion, you got to do it right here, and they're not doing that. And you got to take Bond. If you're going to take Bond, you got to take him right here in the 3rd, and they're not doing that.
Well,
so if you want a weapon at this point, you got to be intentional and go get the weapon, because other than that, you're not.
Tylee Williams still out there.
Tylee Williams?
I think so.
I thought Tylee Williams got drafted in the 1st round.
To who?
Where did I see that at? Well, Tylee Williams is there from Ohio State. Man, I think he got drafted.
He did get drafted. He got drafted to the 20. He got drafted to Detroit.
Yeah, he got drafted last night.
So I wonder what this thing is talking about then. Luther Burden gone. Shoot, man. Kenneth Grant gone. You better hope that who's on the clock right now? Man, they got Luther Burden, man. That's just all of the, like I said. Now we've been doing this draft the whole time, right? We've been doing these. What I tell you, we've been doing these mock draft the whole time. Right now, the Cowboys have not picked everybody that they have picked. It looked like they gonna pick. It did not end up like none of our mock drafts, not one of them. We probably did 100 of them, and we never picked homeboy in the front, and we never did that. We never picked him.
I do you one better. I was telling you when we was doing those mock drafts, everybody was coming up with the same scenarios that we were. I kept saying, when we get to Thursday, the draft is not gonna look like this for Dallas, and I was right.
Yeah.
I also predicted they may not be able to trade down. They wasn't able to trade down.
You mean to tell me that you finna come up out of this draft and you didn't get a star running back or a star receiver?
Well, you can get the running backs are gonna be there in the 5th.
What running backs? What running backs? Because it's only one left.
Todd Archer is reporting that the Cowboys were targeting Burton.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints took Tyler Show. They are dumb.
The Cowboys could have went up and got Luther Burton.
Cowboys should take Shador at this point.
Man, they're not taking Shador. Shador, when the Browns come back up, had the Browns picked twice.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders are coming up. The Raiders gonna take Shador.
Man, that's what I would do, man. Shoot.
Who was the Jets quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, they signed your guy that was in Pittsburgh, right?
Mm-hmm. Justin Fields.
Boy, I'm not a Justin Fields guy. You are. I would take Shador over him every day of the week.
I mean, I don't know why people don't. Well, it's not that people. It's just like people just don't know how to. These coaches just don't know how to coach with.
I think he's very inaccurate. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. He can run, but I tell you one. I do you one better. I would take Jalen Milroe over him.
I mean,
he's just not good to me.
You're gonna get about the same results, probably. They'll both be good in our offense. I would like to have him on our team as a backup.
Shador is going to go to the Raiders. Now, the Rams are there. The Rams could shock and take him. The Cowboys. They should have went and got Luther.
Yeah, they're not aggressive at all. Here we go again. We didn't have a draft where only like I said, they didn't get no unless they get Caleb Johnson, that's the only way. They can get Caleb Johnson and then then everything will be all good. But if they don't get Caleb Johnson,
it's too many teams in between you. You got the 49ers might take him. The Jets, they out on Breece Hall, so that's where Caleb Johnson is going. The Jets trying to get rid of Breece Hall. And a lot of that talk about the Cowboys. Some talk about the Cowboys getting Breece Hall and Pickens. I'm not giving you. I'm giving you a 6 and a 7 for them. So Steelers ain't taking those 6 for Pickens. I'm not doing that. I would spend between now and July trying to get Amari Cooper in his shape. Send him over there with Dak and CD. That should be an option. Get his head right with ball, get him in shape. You brought Jason Witten.
I understand that, but it's just like, man, they doing all of this. When you got to do all of that, nah, you just need to just get somebody, just a bona fide star. Go trade for Cortland Sutton or Pickett.
But you got to look at what are you trading. At this point, you're gonna be trading your next year's pick.
Yeah, whatever you got to do, just trade whatever you got to trade if you're trying to win this year. If not, then if you're not trading to get a receiver in here, then just don't get one. You might as well just chill out.
So you don't think an in shape Amari Cooper would be better than
I mean, that's too much to hope for. You know, the in shape of Amari Cooper, we gotta hope that they can get him in the contract, and they hope that he want to play, and they hope.
You gotta get, Keenan Allen is still out there.
Nah, you got, so T.J. Sanders went to Buffalo.
That's a defensive tackle, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. Yeah, T.J. Sanders. I think everybody's reporting that. Yeah, I mean, all these players that went, all these players just went. Cowboys should have traded up and got somebody, because this is where the Cowboys start reaching. Well, ain't nobody to reach for right now. They need to trade. I mean, I don't know if you can trade back. Trading back at this point would be probably worthless.
Well, man,
you intend to get like Savion Williams or RJ Harvey. You intend to get those players. You intend to get them players.
Well, right now, probably the best players that's left is like Trey Amos, got Collins, and they'll be good players.
Yeah, well.
But
they'll be good players, and then and the score will be 14-7 going into the fourth quarter.
Right now, you paying the piper because of what you did in 23 and 24.
They have not helped Dak out in 5 years.
Yeah.
They just haven't. Since
Trey Harris just went off the board.
Good.
And I didn't really want him.
That's what I'm saying. And my thing is just like this. Who was the last weapon that they put on offense for Dak? Or was it had to
Cooper? And CD?
That was in 2020. That is so ridiculous. That is terrible. That is terrible.
At this point right here, I'm trying to get the tight end that we were talking about. Mason Taylor or your other guy.
Who?
What's his name?
Harold Fannin?
Harold Fannin, yeah.
He went to the Eagles, I think.
Fannin went to the Eagles?
No, maybe that's just on Bleacher. Maybe that's just on what's the name? Maybe that's just
Eagles haven't drafted yet.
Oh, well, that's just on Tankathon.
Man, this is crazy. Like all of these teams that we're competing with. I mean, this is happening. This will be the third year in a row where teams are just lining up, they just knocking it out left and right. And we're up here with Schoonmaker, Mozzie, Tyler Guyton. A lot of chatter today about Asim Richards. If they give Asim Richards a fair shot, he can beat out Tyler Guyton for that position.
Yeah, this is like I said, man, they really,
But Mason Taylor, Harold Fannin, that's where you need to go, but they're gonna go defense.
T.J. Sanders, or who's next? The Jets. Let's see what the Jets do.
A lot of people talking about Jalen Noel and Caleb. Well, Caleb Johnson is the running back. Yeah.
I ain't trying to, man. It's just Caleb. Oh wow. The Jets are getting Mason Taylor.
Yep. There you go.
Every other team is having a hell of a draft. I mean, and we got a good pick at number one with our first round pick. We probably got the best lineman in the draft, honestly, the way it's looking. But we're gonna have a great line, and we ain't gonna have nothing to do, nothing to go behind it. But besides what everybody already know, Everybody already know we
Well,
got CD.
the one position that we know is not going to be depleted is running backs. You can get running backs in the fifth that's going to be good players for us. So I'm not worried about what you got to do right now. First and foremost, you need to just take good players. A good player that's at the end. We don't need nothing goofy that nobody's prepared for. When we hear the name, even if it's defense, it should be somebody that has been on our boards, like Collins, Trey Amos. So the best remaining players from Zach Wolchuk, Mike Green, Siobhan Revelle. That's who they're gonna take. They're gonna take Siobhan Revelle.
So if they don't take Caleb Johnson right here, then we just need to I'm gonna just go ahead.
Makuba is still there.
No, I'm taking Caleb Johnson.
But who's between us and them and our pick?
The 49ers.
Caleb Johnson would be the pick. But Siobhan Revelle would be a good pick. But again, with him, you got the knee injury.
You know, they gonna do something like Will Johnson, or they gonna do something like, you know, they gonna take one of them. That's who the 49ers gonna take.
49ers might take Caleb Johnson. I mean, so the third round is tonight too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He ain't got no pick tomorrow. Unless they trade down. They showing the war room.
Specific, I know Caleb Johnson.
I have Johnson high. I just don't think they have him as high as I do. And I've got corners that are higher than Johnson now. The way it is on my board for sure.
I think a part of drafting is kind of getting a feel for how the league is drafting. So do you guys think
they're going Trey Amos
pass on the hurt corners
Revelle
right now because everybody's passing on the hurt corners, and maybe they'll try to see if it can get back around to the third round.
This is what they
pick,
do.
and
They also in the second round, they always take somebody that's hurt.
Jack Besh is at my board, a wide receiver sitting up there.
Or they're looking at those corners and the stack of guys there with the medical red flags, and they're saying this is the perfect opportunity.
Aaron Whitecotton just fist bumped
trade
Stephen
out.
Jones.
Because these are first round picks. Who's that?
Aaron Whitecotton just fist bumped Stephen Jones, D-line.
They
Darius
might.
Alexander?
Darius Alexander, Alfred
Told you.
Collins, Ezra Owaku.
Defensive line.
Man, maybe.
Yeah, man.
I called it.
Jones on the phone.
I've been telling people that all day.
Oh man, yeah, that's who it's gonna be. Alfred Collins, man. That's trash, man.
Closing in on the 44th overall pick for the Dallas Cowboys. The
I've
New
been
York
telling
Jets are on the
people
clock
all
at
day
42
they're going
in
to
the second
take.
round of the 2025.
They're going to take
NFL
defensive
draft.
line or
Their
corner
pick
in the
is
second
The San
round.
Francisco 49ers are on the clock, and then very soon the Cowboys will be on the clock. Taking a look at the war room, Stephen Jones is on the phone. Aaron Whitecotton, defensive line coach for this Dallas Cowboys team, just fist bumped Stephen Jones. Here's the Jets selection at 42.
Oh, there's my man, Mason Taylor.
Well, we finna take Alfred Collins or one of them. So you know, we didn't get a running back or a receiver, not a top
Give us a
one.
quick scouting report, Brian.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, Mason Taylor is a tremendous player, and you know, and when you start to break down, I know there were a lot of folks that were talking about
They just don't believe
the
in
Michigan
adding
tight
talent
end,
to the
Warren
team,
and
like,
all that. But Mason Taylor,
weapons,
at my
they just
alma
don't
mater there, LSU, he's one of the most clutch
care
players
about
in
that.
LSU history. When they needed a big play, the staff went his.
So, yeah, man. I got homework I'm about to do.
Yeah, you can drop off. You got to do that. We'll get back to the third round.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to drop off real quick. But yeah, they gonna take Avery Collins or somebody.
Well, they saying Alexander.
Whatever. Yeah, that's just. Yeah, I have no interest in that. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I'm gonna do this homework.
All right. Yep, it's gonna be a defensive line pick here. The 49ers took Alfred Collins. So Dallas is just kind of doing the normal thing that they do. They just, good players are on the board. They got this mindset that they're gonna do defensive line, offensive line, kind of everything else is just like they ain't really that interested. So a lot of these teams around the league, are they going edge? So they're going defense because the coach White Cotton came into the war room. Yeah, so they're taking the edge out of Boston College. Man, I don't. Yeah, they Cowboys. They back on their thou wows. This pick doesn't make any sense. I'm looking at the Tankathon. I don't even. Yeah, I don't understand this pick. Yep. So yeah, what we looking at right here is that we just questioning our scouting department. This is third year in a row where we know what the draft has. We know what the players are. We've been looking at the players for months. Seems like forever. And we're doing a lot of content creators are doing mock drafts. Everybody knows what the players are. These last three drafts with Mozzie, Schoonmaker, last year with Guyton, Nealon. Now this pick right here, a Booker was a good pick based on the situation, but this pick right here, it just makes no sense, none whatsoever. This is a guy that you just drafted. He's going to be competing with Sam Williams, Micah Nealand, and Dante Fowler for playing time. Just there ain't that many snaps to go around at that position. This is a odd pick. Now, I'll say this: if you hadn't drafted Nealand last year, maybe this is okay, but this is a odd pick. Yeah, Keith. So what do you like about this pick? Yeah, I'm just. I mean, the comments on the player are decent. I mean, I understand. I'm looking at Tankathon. They had him ranked as the 28th best player, so that's probably what you're gonna hear. So, kid, you talking about the kid from Marshall? That's Green. They say he's falling.
Who?
Tip the cap to, and I think what we saw in the war room was Will McClay and what he can do, and I think he fought very hard for this kid. I think there's some folks in that war room that were maybe interested in bailing out of there, maybe going another direction, and he told them, hey, let's stick right here. We got this. This is our guy, and you could see it, and Jerry and Steven looking at him and saying, okay, and head coach going with him, defensive coaches going with him, so. Nice job by Will arguing for his player right there. Yeah, I mean, it's right. It's sticking to your board, right? Yeah.
So yeah, this is it's interesting pick to say the least. So yeah, it looks like he was the 28th player on the board with Tankathon, but he's not somebody that you know. I just didn't think they were going to take an edge. Yeah. So third round, they're probably going to have to take. At this point, they're going to have to take the highest rank back available, whoever that is at the time. Yeah. So let's see who went off here. Okay, so Alfred Collins went to the 49ers, somebody that we definitely wanted. Mason Taylor, tight end, went to The Jets. So, Uncle Squeak, you like the pick. He was rated 28th overall on Tankathon, so you get him at 44. I mean, it's a guy that, you can obviously say that the way he was rated, but yeah, I'm at to just check him out in detail. So, okay, so we watching Donovan here. He's a guy that obviously you're gonna play on the edge. You can have Micah, you know, blitzing from the A gap, do some of that. So I mean, but you got Dante Fowler. But my question again that I'm going back to is if this is where you're going, you got to explain the Nealon pick because you just don't have enough plays for all of these guys to play. He looks quicker than Nealon. And look, man, the kid might be a baller. He probably is, but yeah, it's it's an interesting pick. That's all I can say. Yep. Yeah, you can go ahead and stop the highlights there. It kind of choppy too. put the .com back on. See what people are saying on Twitter. Twitter, man, it be lit. So Nix, I like your guy Nix. He liked the pick. So I really put a lot into so DMV likes the pick. Shout out to DMV. CFT was not impressed with the pick. I mean, I'm seeing some other highlights of him. I mean, highlights are highlights, so highlights he looked good. All right. JC Cowboy, the network likes the picks. So, the sentiment seems to be that he was a, highly rated player. Foots the King likes the pick, so, Foots did not like the Booker pick, by the way. Yeah, well, we can say, with the two picks they made, they got, tough physical players, so we need physicality. Yeah, and I'm just gonna go back to what I said earlier. I don't see how Marshawn Nealon fits here. The Marshawn Nealon pick from last year, round 2, is just an odd pick. It's even more weird now. So Josina Anderson says the Cowboys said that he's a unbelievable person, a super competitor. And Jay Tuck says he was afraid that Philly was going to take him. Philly. Now we just got to figure out how to pronounce his last name. So our pass rush, it's gonna be nice. We can just get teams and second and long and third and long and just kind of unleash the hounds. It's gonna be interesting. Yep. So look out, KC. Appreciate you joining in. He likes the pick. Said he can play starter day one. So look out, KC. What do you like about the pick? Where did you have him before the draft? Tankathon had him in 28. I'm familiar with the name. I had saw him. He was just not somebody that I thought the Cowboys were looking at. So they did a good job of not talking about who they like. Well, they did talk about who they like, but they didn't. They never talked about him. So he must be someone that. Oh, that's Squeaky. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So tell us some more about what you like about this guy. So look, I'll say this: the last several drafts, people when they saw Nealon, when they saw Schoon, everybody just kind of gets in the acceptance mode. So they kind of be like, they don't like to pick it first, but then everybody's liking it. But when the season starts, that's when everything hits, and you kind of go back to your original point. Yep. So I see you showing the highlights again. I wasn't even paying attention. All of these highlights, they're gonna look like that, and they're gonna look like, that's kind of what we look like. I said, I like the pick, but what we doing with Needham? Yeah, your audio is all messed up, and I can just see it's a black screen.
Yeah, I know that, but by now, can you hear me now?
See you, but your audio is like underwater. I can't. Yeah. That's what was happening last night. Hey, say something, Keith.
Can y'all hear me?
Can hear you perfect.
Okay.
So you in your back cave?
Yeah, I'm in the media room.
So tell me what you like about this pick, man. You gotta educate me. I know we've been looking at all these players. I do know where he was ranked, but I was just kind of surprised on that.
Yeah, I like the pick. I actually think he's a good pass rusher. He has the length and the strength, and the speed to get around these tackles that we got in our division. So I think it was a solid pick.
So let me ask you this: when you look at what they did last year when they drafted Marshawn Nealon, I never understood that pick. So this even makes it even more fuzzier now. I don't. Where does Nealon fit in? So you got Nealon, Dante Fowler, You got Micah and Sam. So, how are you finding places for these guys to play?
Well, you can never have enough pass rushers, but I think this guy that they just drafted is a lot. He's better than Nealon. I think Nealon is okay, but he can just be an extra defensive lineman coming off the bench, coming off the sideline. But I think Nealon, for the most part, he was pretty decent last year. With what they had. But like
He
you
was
say,
good
I
against
know.
the run. He set the edge,
Yeah,
but I still just think it was a reach. But
yeah, it definitely was a reach when they picked him. It was better players on the board when they picked him. But what they got with this guy, Donovan, I think that's a good pick.
well, he was ranked 28th on Tankathon, and again, he's just one of those players that I knew he was there. We've been looking at him. He just wasn't the guy that I just figured would get to Dallas. Now he fell, so it's interesting how that worked out. So what do you think about Booker, the first round pick? What do you think about the pick overall?
Oh, Booker was a solid pick, especially since we lost Martin. I think that's a solid pick. He's very physical guard. He was the best guard in the draft to me. So to me, that was a A+ pick.
Yeah, the rumors are that they were going to take Ted if he had got to 12.
Yeah, I think they was gonna take the receiver from Arizona if he had a fail, but since he didn't, I think they did a good job by picking up Booker.
So where were you at on Ibuka and Golden?
Golden
was 12 too high for them?
I think so. I think the receivers, they could have. A lot of those receivers could have went late first round or early second round.
Yeah. I think so. A lot of the people that talk about just you like a player, just go ahead and get him, but it seems like they just didn't have Ibuka and Golden up that high.
I would have liked the Cowboys to jump up in this round and got the guy from Missouri.
Luther Burden, yeah, they should have.
Yeah. I really would like them to have done that, but that's just typical Cowboys. They just sit there and don't do nothing. They not aggressive, They just sit there and let things happen.
Now, what they're reporting on .com is that some people in the war room wanted to trade down from this pick, but Will McClay talked them into staying and taking the player.
Yeah. I think Will McClay is a good. It's pretty good, but if they start letting Steven and run the draft, that's when they get in trouble. To me.
So I think in third round they gotta go running back. I mean, I just will be stunned if they don't go running back in the third.
So I'm trying to see what running backs are still left on the board.
So the Bengals took Demetrius Knight. He was a guy that we liked. Will Johnson went to the Cardinals. Nick Scordon was somebody that I was just hoping they would not take. A&M. I didn't like none of the A&M players. He went to the Panthers. But yeah, I was like, my thing with the draft, I wanted anybody except Walter Nolan, and Shamar Stewart. I was like, if we get anybody except Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan, I'm good. Those are two guys I did not want.
Now I do like the guy from DeSoto, Shamar Turner.
Yeah, they have Shamar Turner in the third round though.
Now that's somebody that they could pick up in the third or fourth round if he flies. I do like him.
When we did our mock drafts, we took him several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people was getting him confused with Stewart, but yeah, we like Shamar Turner.
Yeah.
But we never did take when we were doing mock drafts, and we literally did hundreds of them. We never took Donovan Ezeruka because he wasn't there.
Yeah. I think that's a good pick, man. I really do. I think he's gonna be solid. It could be possible the steal of the draft.
I want to get your opinion on Shador. What do you think is happening? And do you think the Raiders are coming up? If the Raiders don't take him, I don't see where he
I thought the
goes.
Raiders already picked, or did they trade down?
The Raiders traded. Well, right now my screen might not be refreshed. Let me refresh this.
I thought the Raiders was up, and then I looked at it, and they looked like they traded.
Yeah, they traded with Houston.
Yeah.
So they coming up.
They got the 58th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of politics going on with Shador. You know, with Dion being his dad.
Well, the thing
People-
about Shador, he didn't help himself with his interviews, with his media. If they were
Right.
smart, what they would have
Right.
did, they would have had him doing less media. And it's obvious that, and as you well know, I know how to prep people for interviews. One of the things I do.
Yeah.
And it's just obvious nobody prepped him on interviewing, because I could just listen to the way he talking, the way he's answering. I saw some of his interviews. I was just floored. I could not believe he was answering questions like that.
Yeah, and even yesterday, his remarks, it wasn't too good to me.
So at the end of the day, what you got to do, you got to know business is business. No matter what, you got to be professional. You got to be humble. And that they didn't. He had no help with that. He just, the stuff that he was saying on interviews, I was just like, wow. You we was talking about. Go ahead.
I kind of felt they just felt that entitlement, like he was gonna be drafted no matter what. But I just think it backfired on him. Yeah.
Yeah, and just as a general comment, I'm just kind of so disappointed with all of these people, with these celebrities and these sports people that, they make money, they make millions of dollars, and they don't do the right thing. They don't do stuff in the community. They don't help people. Now, we don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, and where I'm going with that is like Shannon Sharp. That's just crazy for him to be just out there, just acting like that. And you could just see it coming. His ego just out of control.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith does that too. It's like, man, you can be a media attraction. You can do all of that, but it's a certain boundaries you got to stand. These guys just get too big for their britches.
Yeah, they get the big head.
Yeah, and they start thinking they're invincible and they can just do and say anything. You got to stay grounded. But yeah, Shador. But what's going to happen is he's going to end up.
I said he's sliding.
If he don't go to the Raiders, I'm looking at the team that's coming up. He's not going to the Ravens.
The Green Bay, the Chargers.
He going to the third round. Now the Ravens, it would be they could take him. He's not going to play.
Yeah, I don't see the Ravens taking him. I was looking at the Rams, and like you say, the Raiders.
I told Jules the Rams earlier, but they passed on him.
Yeah.
Man, you looking at this thing. Now, I'm going to tell you somebody that might take it, and I'm looking at them right now. The Eagles. They that's the kind of thing they would do.
No.
But check it out. He 4 or 5 picks away going into the third round.
Yeah, well, he's going to definitely go to the third round. I don't see none of these teams taking him, the teams that's coming up.
The Raiders?
Well, the Raiders.
If they don't take him, he going to the third round.
Yeah, the Raiders, and that's it.
And I'm going to just be real with you. I'm just going to say I watched him play the last 2 years. to me, he's kind of. I thought he was a better athlete than he is. He's kind of. I think he's kind of heavy. I think he needs to lose some weight. Uh,
Well, he had the offensive line wasn't too good either.
no, he's a pocket quarterback, so you got to protect him.
No. I think he's gonna do great wherever he goes, but it's just disappointing. He done fail like this.
What I said last night, if he goes to the Browns or the Raiders, which is where I had him going, he'll probably be starting after pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm not no Geno Smith fan. I cannot understand the Raiders signing him and giving him a contract. I told Julian that. I'm like, I don't get that. I've never been a fan of Geno. Geno, in a 17-game season, he gonna have 8 games where he just look like he Hall of Fame. He gonna have 9 games where you're just looking at it like, what is he doing out here today?
Yeah, this Mike Green guy's falling too.
Well, he had the domestic violence thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I like the way you got your room set up.
Yeah, I still want to do some things. Got to get it together.
Yeah, it looks nice. Well,
got my helmets and stuff going.
Yeah, I got to get a couple of helmets like yours. So we got Abdul Carter going to the Giants, man. I've been telling Julian, old school, the NFC East, it's going like back in the day when, Dallas, Washington, the Giants, the Eagles, it's coming back.
Yeah, man, but I just think Giants their defense is going to be good. Now they took this quarterback out of Ole Miss. See how that pans out.
What do you think about him?
I mean, he's decent. He come out the SEC, so. But I'm not, just all excited about him. We'll see what he does. They definitely got to protect him. Put some people around him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but their defense is going to be nice. I doubt if they take this draft back to Green Bay. Freezing down there.
Hey, hold on, Keith. So it was cold out there?
Yeah, and they say it's supposed to be even worse for tomorrow.
So, man, at the end of April. Yeah, I know the NFL, I think, is doing a good job moving the draft around. And they was talking about doing a combine like that, but people, the league started complaining. So they trying to make money.
So Green Bay, Chargers, and Chicago.
You know they talking about trying to get the next Super Bowl here, right?
Here in Dallas?
Yeah.
What
So it'll probably be like 2029, I think, 2029, 2030.
Yeah. That's a little ways off. 3 years.
Now, what you think about Damian Martinez from Miami, the running back? He's supposed to be from the Metroplex.
I don't know too much about him.
Yeah, he's supposed to be from around here.
Yeah, let's see. Where's
Hey, so did you see Michael last night on his reaction on the picks?
Yeah, is that the one you sent?
Yeah, I sent you two. Man, what they gonna do with Michael?
They ain't gonna be able to do nothing with him. They need to pay him. That's about it. Let him do
Oh,
his
they
thing.
they gonna pay him.
Yeah. But they can't. He's like Muhammad Ali. You can't. He gonna say what he got to say and don't care.
Well, Jerry don't care, just to be honest.
Yeah.
But
There's nothing you can do
Jerry,
with him.
Jerry, Jerry like all that.
Yeah.
He ain't. I don't know about Steven.
I don't know, man. Steven is the worst, if you ask me. He's worse than Jerry.
He is. A lot of people don't say that. I do.
Yeah. We probably done won 2 Super Bowls if it wasn't for Steven.
Oh yeah, I believe that. I think Jerry would have done made a couple of high, quality free agent signings. He would have done it. Okay, so I'm trying to refresh my screen. So the Raiders, let me see who's
Raiders coming up.
so did the Bears pick?
No, Bears coming up next.
Okay. Well, I was telling Julian and my nephews, they like to kind of travel. The girls do too. So I told them they should go to Vegas to the game this year when the Cowboys play. I ain't going. They can have it, but
Yeah, that'll be a nice little trip.
yeah, they go to the fights in Vegas, and so I told them they need to just you know,
So we got the AFC West this year.
we play Kansas City here. So Coach Graham, my line brother, he was a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame, Texas Hall of Fame coach.
Paul Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a Kansas City fan. He grew up in Kansas City, so he just as passionate about the Chiefs as we are about the 49ers. I waited to after the Super Bowl. I waited a week to call him, and I knew he was mad. But so the Chiefs play here. I talked to him. He's like, man, I'm gonna watch it on TV. I'm like, Coach, how you not gonna go to the Chiefs game, man? He's like, Judge, I'm gonna stay at home and have my drinks, and I gotta take you over to his house one of these days. His media room, it looks like a Hall of Fame right now. You would not believe the stuff he got.
Yeah.
He got pictures in the Oval Office with Bill Clinton. He's on pictures with like Magic Johnson.
You know, I was in Paul and Vanessa's wedding back in
Yeah, he talk about that all the time.
long time ago. Stood up for like 2 hours.
Yeah, he talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you be at them weddings. People be falling out at weddings. Now, when I got married and when you got married, that was my biggest fear. That I was like, people, especially guys, groomsmen, they tell you you be standing up 2 hours. You just you be out of there.
Yeah, man, I'll never forget that.
Your wedding was quick though.
Yeah, Pastor Haynes get you out of there quick. Yeah. Let's see, Chicago finna pick, then the Raiders up, then Denver, and then the Raiders.
Shador don't go right here. It's a wrap.
I was trying to see what running backs were available. See best DBs. I like that safety for Notre Dame, Watts. I'm surprised he ain't gone. I thought he'd been gone by now. That's a good pick for the Cowboys if he make it to the next. That'd be a real good pick for them. The safety from Notre Dame.
Yeah, I like him.
He got a real good eye for the ball.
New Chipotle honey chicken brings a hint of pure honey and seared smoked peppers.
I just hope these new coaches, man, they can make a difference.
You know, I really like the offensive line coach Riley and Clayton Adams. So they kind of remind me of, Jimmy's coaches when he brought those guys in. That staff that Jimmy had.
Yeah.
Just young, innovative guys. Guys trying to, make it in the league. So I like that part of it. My concern is the defensive side. We got those coaches from the Jets. Now the Jets, I really like their defense. Matter of fact, we was at your house watching the Jets and the Cowboys a couple years ago. That Jets defense, boy, they would bring it, man. They just never had a good offense. But so we got a coach from the Jets, the defensive line coach, I believe, the linebackers coach, and but I'm not an Eberflus guy. He's that Marinelli scheme.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't too happy with that, but I mean, let's see if I can fix this.
So Chicago, you don't get that much time to pick.
That way I ain't got to hold my phone in my hand. Well, I'll never forget when Drew Pearson did his thing, and that was the greatest of all time right there.
Yeah, that was.
Who is this guy?
They trying to fill in time now.
Yeah, I think he probably had too much to drink. This guy here seemed like he.
So a lot of people are saying this Edge is gonna be a starter, man. So,
yeah, I liked it, man. I like that. I like that pick.
And what you can do too, Michael needs to rush from the A gap, from the middle more. So, just move him around. You could put, I'm calling him Donovan. You could put Donovan on one end, Sam or Dante Fowler on the other end, and have Michael coming up the middle. That'll be pretty, get teams in second and third and long. That'll be a really good package.
Yeah.
So how many more picks is it before we pick again? Let me see.
Okay, we got Denver and then Vegas.
Yeah, we got quite a ways before we pick again. Yeah, we still in the second round, so we got probably about 20 more picks.
And then we don't have a fourth round, do we?
Nah, we ain't got a fourth. Unless they trade down. They was trying to trade down in the second.
But them of them traded this pick to the Lions.
Man, everybody we competitive with, the Lions, the Packers, everybody they loading up, man.
I think the Lions gonna jump up and get a defensive back.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they come back this year. They done lost some players, they done lost some coaches, but still got a good team. We don't play them this year, do we? We play the Packers. Packers got Golden. They're gonna be a sneaky team.
Yeah, let's see.
So what did you think about the Eagles pick, Jahad Campbell, the linebacker?
I think it was a solid pick. It's just gonna make their defense a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid pick for their defense.
He's a good player. Kind of remind me of Michael a little bit.
Yeah, real physical. Stop the run.
So I wanted to ask you too, what did you think about Kenneth Murray, the linebacker? When he came out of Oklahoma, I really liked him, and he went to the Chargers then. But he from Missouri City, Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So you think he got something left? How you think he gonna pan out?
I don't know. Well, no, he come from the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was high on coming out of Oklahoma, but it seemed like he didn't play too well.
Yeah, he might. Kendricks played pretty good last year. I think he can play.
Oh well, he's better than Kendricks.
Yeah, I think he can play about as equal as Kendricks, or a little better. He probably he's younger. He's a young guy. He's not old.
Yeah.
I think he's like 25, 26 years old. So
yeah, he's definitely better than Kendricks, but
I think what I like about him is that he knows this his last opportunity. His family gonna be at the game, so he gonna play his best football or whatever he got.
No. Like you say, maybe a change of scenery and everything. Since he's from Texas,
yeah,
probably play better.
Yeah, what's happening on these Cowboy picks? When they announce the pick, everybody hate the pick, but then people just settle down. That's kind of what's been happening.
Yeah.
Last couple of years, but these guys, the early judgment has panned out. Schoonmaker, Mozzie, they just were not good picks.
Yeah. No, they wasn't. But I actually like this guy, so I give him an A so far. I think they got two starters. Definitely got two. And that's what you need to do, man. You just need to get guys that can make an impact immediately.
Yeah, the Ravens, they just take good players, man. They got the safety from Georgia. They be killing it. The only thing the Ravens haven't been able to do, and they've been trying to do it for years, they just haven't been able to get the receiver.
Yeah.
But everything else, I mean, they drafts be just off the charts.
That's what I'm saying. They just pick solid players every year. And they can coach them up.
The Raiders took Jack Best, TCU receiver. They passed on Shador. Shador's gonna fall to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
A lot of people like Jack Best. I wasn't that high on him. We got way too many guys like that in our receiver core. I was gonna ask you, have you watched Savion Williams, the receiver from TCU? Yeah, he's somebody that we could look at in the 3rd round. His hands are not really good, but he's a heck of a player. You can give him the ball anywhere on the field. He like 6'4", 6'5".
This guy here, he's that guy that his brother got killed in New Orleans.
So Jack Best and Savion Williams was TCU receivers. A lot of people had Savion Williams rated higher, but Jack Best, he's kind of like a Cooper Kupp type player.
Right.
And like I said, he would be somebody that I would be okay with on the Cowboys, but we got too many guys like that already. I think we need to just redo our receiver room.
Yeah, well. CD, everybody else we got. Now this guy they picked up from Carolina. Not sure about him.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
And then everybody else we got seemed like they like just third down,
Yeah.
Receivers.
Well, what they do is all the receivers they draft, they the same prototype. Just think about Michael Gallup. That's what they try to get. Somebody like that. It's Flournoy, Tolbert. They all the same receiver. This guy Mingo, they all the same prototype. And I don't know why they think that's a good receiver.
Because that's what they used to. That's why you say they have a style of what they like.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see Baltimore, Denver, or Washington taking the quarterback. Golly, boy, this boy done slid to the 3rd round.
Yeah, they trying to teach him a lesson. Teaching him a good old lesson.
So I like the running back from Iowa.
I think he's gone. Did somebody trade Caleb? Let me see.
Oh, he's still there.
Well, that's who they should have took. He ain't gonna be there when we pick. If they want him, they're gonna have to go up and get him.
Yeah. Now that Savion Williams guy is still there.
Man, Savion might be there when we pick. It might be. It's gonna be some people that'll be really excited about that pick. It's gonna be some people that won't be. I mean, I'll be good with it, but I think they need to take a running back. It's gonna be some good backs. I think they got to go running back in round 3. Now, let me say this: what you could do You could take Savion in 3, and you could take your 2 running backs in round 5. It's gonna be good running backs in the 5th round. And we've done all the mock drafts we've done. It's just so many backs that you could get, but what they need to do, they need to draft 2 backs, and the 2 rookies that we draft, they're gonna play. They got a kid from SMU. He's really good.
I think I lost connection. The kid from SMU is what?
Running back.
Okay.
I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I just went out for a second.
Yep.
Let's see here.
So Keith, I think what I'm gonna do, we're gonna just log out for a minute, and we'll come back on before the Cowboys pick.
Okay.
So we'll send you the link back up.
Okay then.
I'm gonna log out, then we're gonna log back in. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, bye.
So we're gonna take a break and then come back in this 3rd round and get it back going. You got it? All right.